This is When I Grow Up with Paul Glazby.
Chris,
Thanks, mate.
welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Thanks for inviting me.
So obviously we've been friends for a while.
Yeah.
Musician,
Yeah.
lawyer,
Yep.
business owner,
Yep.
father.
Yep.
Nailed it.
Yep.
So what did you want to be when you grew up?
What did I want to be when I grow up? I've got no idea. Never really wanted to grow up.
Ditto.
I've always been probably I always felt like I was probably like one of the most immature people ever. But I think people might say otherwise when they meet me. But inside I've always, wanted to.
Peter Pan.
Peter Pan, yeah. Yeah, so what did I want to do? I honestly, I've tried to think about what I wanted to be when I was older, but I just...
Mate, I don't know either, so don't feel bad if there's no answer.
Yeah, I mean, and then where I am now, am I old now, or do I want to, am I where I want to be?
Well, I still don't know what I want
to
be.
Well, I think this is just part of the journey, I guess.
So the music.
Yeah.
So how did you get into that?
I guess I'd probably say that I come from a somewhat musical family.
Okay.
I never met my grandfather, but he played saxophone, I hear, and there was a lot of music with my mum growing up in their household. Mm. But as I said, I never met my grandfather. My mum didn't really touch music so much. And then as a young kid, I remember one of my mates played clarinet when I was about 5 or 6, and I thought, hey, all right, that sounds like cool, something I can do. So I started doing that. And then
You're the first person I've ever heard say the clarinet was cool.
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know why I even thought that either. But that's just how it happened. And then my older brother, he played the saxophone, and so that's something that I wanted to do as well. My older brother was pretty close in age, probably 16 months, and so we're probably pretty competitive growing up. So started playing the saxophone with him, and then as I probably got into my teenage years, maybe I was 13 or so, other friends played guitar and we got more into music. I guess before the age of 12, 13, just the music that you listen to is probably what your parents listen to. But
well, yeah, it's the same for me. Like I was 12, 13 where everything changed for me, but sorry, this is about you.
Yeah, so then I started listening to some punk music, and then somehow, I got an old stereo, and I remember getting a guitar and just plugging a guitar into a stereo and using the natural distortion of this old school stereo and playing Nirvana. So that was.
How old are you now?
I am 42.
Right, so you're a bit younger than me, yeah. 4 years, yeah.
And then from there, wow, I don't know how long this podcast is going to be, but
crack on, mate. We've got all day.
So from there, the music sort of friends, punk music, and then a bunch of guys from school. We just started a punk band and then started playing music. And I guess at that point in time, I was actually probably just finishing high school, and then went on to university. I did a degree started a degree in construction management and economics. And if I'm honest with you, used to wag a lot of those courses and smoke a lot of bongs. So it wasn't really for me. And then the music started progressing. The guys in the band that play with, we'd play a lot more. We would rehearse heaps. And then I think I sort of made a decision way back then that I was going to give this music thing a pretty heavy nudge.
Right.
So
you played rhythm guitar?
Lead guitar.
A lead guitar?
Lead guitar, yeah. So the band was...
Sexy.
Yeah. Two guitars, drums and bass.
At the same time?
Yeah. No. So we started playing some punk music and playing gigs and doing all that sort of stuff, having a heap of fun. And then that...
This is in Adelaide?
This is in Adelaide, yeah. And we probably played a few years in Adelaide, doing some bits and pieces, tours. And I think what kind of happened was that for one reason or another, at this stage I'm 18 and I've moved out of home. And then I think it might have been for some reason we all decided to move to the Gold Coast. And I think it was just a matter of like a few of us surfed. And
did you and your mates move?
Yeah, right. Yeah. So my parents actually moved up this way a year or two before we did. And I was living by myself, or not living by myself, a bunch of mates. And then, actually, this is a pretty interesting story, actually. I was working as a painter when I was back there doing music. And, just doing my thing, earning some money so I could play guitar at night and on the weekends. And then my mum's, I think she's heard something on the radio up here. Oh, there's doing some new diploma course. You should apply in this music course. And I was like, oh, well, shit, I'm not doing anything else of that important at the moment. Why not? And anyway, the course was about to start. I didn't hear back. I had to put in an audition process and make an application. Didn't hear anything. And then I thought I'd give the school a call, and I gave them a buzz. They gave me the head person's phone number. And I swear to God, I've given this dude a call, and luck would have it that his car's broken down 2 blocks away from my house in Adelaide. So I've gone, what's going on here? So, and then this time
so you're talking to him on his mobile?
I'm talking on the mobile, and I'm like, hey, my name's Chris. I put an application in. You guys haven't got back to me. What's going on? He's like, oh, I can't talk. My car's broken down. I'm actually down in Adelaide at the moment. I'm like, no shit, I live in Adelaide. Whereabouts are you? And he broke down 2 blocks away from my house. So anyway, I went and picked him up, and took him to wherever he was going. I can't even remember where he was going. And a couple of days later, he found a spot for me in this course. So I was like, oh, sweet. Looks like we're moving to the Gold Coast. Moved to the Gold Coast. And then the whole band moved as well. And we started playing shows up here.
Right.
And then from there, we played more gigs. Then I got into university, I went to the Griffith University Conservatorium, and I did a Bachelor of Popular Music for 3 years. And the punk band, all my mates, we all sort of split up and went different ways. Some went down to Melbourne to play in other bands. One became a pilot and moved to Japan.
Is that the guy you're still friends with?
Yeah, I'm still friends, really close friends with all these guys still today. And then I started a new band. Which was a cool band, another sort of punk reggae band, and we just played a heap, played some shows, did some tours. Punk reggae, yeah. So it's a bit like Sublime, if you know Sublime. Yeah, so I played with them for a number of years, tours, played Big Day Out 2008, which was pretty cool, with Rage Against the Machine.
Okay.
They didn't play right next to them or anything, but
you're on the same poster.
On the same poster, exactly right.
I played with Carl Cox once.
There you go. And then, just had a heap of fun doing that for a few years. And then I guess that's where things changed. And we're skipping forward. So the first band that I was playing with was called, let's call it 17, 18. And then we skipped forward to about 27, 28. And then I was playing, after the reggae punk band, I played in another band, sort of like more of a straight up hardcore-ish rock band that I actually recorded their EP on. So I did a lot of recording at the time, and I recorded their EP, and then because I knew the song, their bass player left, and they asked me to fill in. And so I started playing with them for a while, and then at the time I was dating daughter's mother, and when she got pregnant, and then
So where did you meet her then?
I met her on the Gold Coast at
right, okay. Because I always thought you'd met her overseas.
No, I didn't even get my passport until I was 27.
Right.
Had never travelled up until that point in time, and then she was like, come meet my family, and I was like, all right. And I only just met this girl. I was like, shit, I've got not that much holding me back. I may as well. And the band I was playing at that time, as I said, I wasn't like an original member. I was just filling in on bass, and I was kind of like, all right, let's go overseas. And then got back. Well, I was only over there for Christmas for a couple of weeks, and I got back and found out that she was pregnant, and my daughter was coming into the world in about 9 months' time, and I was like, shit.
this band's not going to pay for this.
Not sure. I'm not sure this. This band's going to be able to pay for these baby bills.
Right. So that then sees the transition to the
Yeah.
next phase. So just because it always amuses me this. So just tell me your decision on your
all right.
career path.
So basically, as I said at the start of the conversation, I don't really know what I wanted to do, but I knew that I wanted to do something more than I was doing in terms of. I know it sounds pretty horrible to say that, but like, the music was awesome and something that I'll always do. But I guess I wanted to be some sort of professional. I didn't want to have to rely on gigs and work nights and weekends and that sort of stuff. So I was like, oh shit, what can I do? And then I looked at like doing more study, and what I found out is that I didn't really have that many avenues that they would allow me to do. When I say allow me to do, is like get paid by the government to do more study. So they said to me, you can do postgraduate studies as a teacher. And I was like, that's just not going to work. The world would just collapse on itself if people thought that I was going to be a teacher of some sort. My teachers in high school were, I wasn't the greatest student and it just wasn't going to work.
Yeah.
And then the other alternatives was medicine. And I was like, I looked into that pretty heavily at the time. I was like, that was probably what I was going to do. And then I started looking into it a little bit deeper, and I was like, hold on, this is 5 years and 300 grand. I was like, I need a quicker fix than that. And then the only other, then there was another alternative that was I could do postgraduate studies in music. So do an honours degree or something like that. But again, that didn't really help me out either in becoming some sort of paid professional. So I was like, law, I can do that in 2 years at the local university here. So let's just do law. And that's how I became a lawyer pretty much. Just I couldn't pick anything else.
So at this point, you're 20 what?
Now, at this point, I'm probably 28.
28.
28, 28. I was 28. Because I remember having my 30th birthday.
Right.
Yeah, while I was still at law school.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, so you get qualified as a lawyer, and then... So I become a qualified lawyer, and then I decided to head down to Sydney for a few years. Because I guess the idea with becoming a lawyer was, okay, I've got this background in music, I want to stay in the industry, I want to do something with it. So I was like, okay, great, I'll do entertainment law. And I moved down to Sydney, and then... working as an entertainment law firm, helping musicians out with signing contracts and all that sort of stuff. So that was the plan. But the reality was, when I got down there, it was really tough to get into one of those firms. And I'd have coffee date after coffee date meeting with different law firms and trying to get in there and become an entertainment lawyer. And ultimately, I just couldn't do it. I mean, I literally had to. When you finish your law school, you have to do a PLT. It's like like a mini traineeship, and that's what I was trying to do in the entertainment world, but I just couldn't do it. So I ended up getting doing my PLT, my practical legal training, with a property law firm. Right.
And
is this down in Sydney?
This is down in Sydney still. So that's where I sort of cut my teeth, and I stayed with this firm for a little while, for about a year or so. And then I moved to a bigger, more national law firm who actually specialised in body corporate law. And I worked there and hated it, absolutely hated it. It sucked. Like, you had to imagine this place. It was like a tiny little office with no windows. And like, obviously the partners had all the corner offices with big windows, and the clients come in there and see this big flashy boardroom with all these cool things and windows. But where I was, there was just this tiny little box, with no windows. And I would sit there and work 10, 12 hours a day, charging out at 6-minute increments. And life sucked.
So shit.
Yeah, it was bad. It was bad. Yeah, so after doing that I mean, as I said, I just did what I had to do, and then it became the realisation is that I just got to get out of this place. And then, me and my partner, Tash, she's from the UK, and she was kind of
I think we're both at that time in our lives thinking, we had a heap of fun in the years leading up to that, but we thought we're done with Sydney.
So how old were you when you met Tash then? I
would have been about 32-ish, 33.
Right, okay.
Yeah, 32, 33. And then we decided to pack the bags and come back to the Gold Coast. So, I moved to the Gold Coast when I was about 22.
Yep.
And then went down to Sydney for about 3 years, then came back to the Gold Coast, probably 10 years ago now. And worked out lifestyle and what I enjoyed with work, and ended up working at a law firm by the beach. I had a window that would look out over the ocean, and this is where we met. Yeah. Exactly right. Yeah. It was quite a contrast to what the experience I had in Sydney, and I enjoyed myself for those few years.
So let me do the maths on that then. So if you did that when you were 32, 33, so you'd been there for probably 3 years before. We've known each other for 7 years now.
Yeah.
6.5.
So I was there. I was at the firm for I think almost 5 years, just shy of 5 years.
Yeah. So you must have been there about 3 when we first met. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And then
so from there, you decided to go from employee to employer.
Yeah.
Big step.
Yeah. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I remember us having the conversation.
Yeah, exactly right. So, if people don't know, Paul was a real estate agent, and we would work together on lots of deals, and we'd meet up and hang, and it was actually Paul who was a really driving force in getting me to, take a step out and egg me to start my own firm up. And then COVID came about, and the firm that I was working for, put me in some really shitty situations, and I was like, you know what, I've been in shitty situations before.
Felt like you're back in that room with no windows.
Yeah, exactly right. So I was like, catches, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
And then, started my own firm up and haven't really looked back. What we've done is, it's been quite a progression, I'd say, over the last 3 or 4 years.
Even when we were talking the other day, I didn't realise how big you actually got now, because I thought there was you and then sort of 3.
Yeah, so there's a team of about 7 of us now.
Yeah.
It's one thing that I learned through the music side of things is that technology. I've always tried to push myself in terms of technologies. And I remember doing an audition for Griffith University, and with my guitar, and I had this delay pedal that had a loop function. Now everyone has got a loop pedal these days, but 10, 15 years ago it wasn't that common. So in my audition I just dropped a loop and then played
even longer ago, wasn't it? I mean, 20 years ago.
Well, no, it was 2006. Yeah, shit. As I said, I feel like I'm young. I don't feel any older than 18. Yeah, so I've always been pretty progressive on the technology fronts, and that's from the music side of things. As I said, I did this audition, and they were pretty blown away about how I did this looping on this delay pedal, and then taking those skills and moving them into the business realm. I've always, again, really super progressive. We've got the technologies that we use for identifying clients. We're all paperless. We've been paperless for a long time. We streamline all of our processes, and all of our staff work to workflows, and so it's great for them with these workflows that I've created, and I've helped create the software that enables that. It just gives the staff a lot more time to think about other stuff that is more important than work. Yeah. And then they need to know is just to follow this workflow that says this is the task, this is what I need to do today. We're really progressive on that front, and have seen really steady growth through those technologies and because of those technologies, and it's been really our competition's a bunch of dinosaurs. They still use paper and still have Doris on reception, and sit on you talk to Doris for 15 minutes before someone will answer a 30-second question that you might have.
Well, I mean, every time I obviously pass a lot of work your way. You're always our first sort of protocol when it comes to
thanks for that. No.
Conveyancing. And the way I always picture it is when you ring that number, it's Chris that's going to answer the answer the
that's
phone.
right. And look, there might be times I'm drunk and I can't answer the phone.
Yeah, well, that's
but I'll call you back as soon as I can.
as soon as I'm sober.
As soon as I sober up. No, but that's for real. Like, you know, like I'll be on the phone or I'll be talking to staff and I can't answer that call, but as soon as I finish what I'm doing, I'm on the phone and back to our client, to yourself or whoever it might be.
Yeah.
There's no sitting around waiting for Doris and me to come back from my 3-hour lunch.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Excellent. And now, so you've now got, well, you've got 4 kids, haven't you? You got
4 kids, yes. Yeah, exactly right. So my oldest, Poppy, she is 15. She's just come over from Sweden only a couple of weeks ago to visit. So we're pretty close there and we go over there every year to see her. And then Tash, who I talked about a moment ago, we have 3 kids. Indy, 6 turning 7, Kelly, who's 3, and little Winnie, who's about to turn 1.
That's a year already.
Yeah,
well, I can't believe. I remember when Indy was born, and that.
Yeah, I know. It's just time's just it's crazy how fast it's all just.
So your day to day, obviously, like you said, you've got all the technology in place. So I guess you've got yourself in a position now where you do get to spend time
at home with my family. Absolutely. Yeah. So one thing a lot of people don't realise is, you know, I've set up this business where everybody works remotely. And that's why I've been really heavy on the technology front and creating these workflows because, you know, there's not someone looking over their shoulder to make sure that all the things are being done that need to be done.
There is, but it's just a robot.
But it's exactly right. So it's way more efficient for everyone.
Yeah.
So, you know, as a business owner, you don't switch off you don't get to 5 o'clock and just switch off. You're always working, but in and amongst that, I have so much interaction with my family. Yeah. Because I am home and I'm working from home. I can talk to them. Often I'll just go pick up the kids at 3:30 because I can. Yeah. And then I come back and I'll work for another 2 or 3 hours or whatever it might be. Yeah. And same with drop-offs. Like I make a thing that whenever I can, I'll drop the kids off because you know, we have a bit of a routine in the morning. Like this morning I woke up, I don't know, 5 o'clock. I went to the beach for a swim. And then came back, no one else was up except for me. So then I came home and the kids woke up and had a cup of tea. Then we jumped in the pool, went for a swim together. And then we made their lunches, got the kids ready, and then took them back to the beach. And then where there's a coffee shop and a playground, and then they'll have a play. Tash and I will have a coffee. And then we'll take the kids to school. And this is all before 9 o'clock, and then I start work. And somewhere as well, often in the morning as well, maybe before I went to the beach or something. Before I went to the beach this morning, I probably did half an hour's work, you know, flicking emails to different people, just some stuff. So when it came time at 9 o'clock and I started getting phone calls and the serious stuff happened, I had a pretty clear idea of what I had to do for the day. Yeah, that's great. I mean, I remember being at like a birthday party. One of the girls, I mean, this is years ago, probably 5 years ago. I was talking to this guy, and I think he must have been more like one of the granddads or something. He was an older guy. Yeah. And, you know, you're just chatting. He's like, oh, what do you do? I said, oh, I'm in real estate. He's like, oh, my mate was a real estate agent. Ruined his life. His wife, he got divorced. Kids won't talk to him. And he reeled all these things. I went, that's not real estate. I said, your mate's a dickhead. Yeah. I said, I've been in real estate. I said, it's been the best thing for me because I get to drop my kids off at school. Absolutely.
You know, I can choose. Now there's times where you've got a listed appointment and you've got to be at someone's house at 7 o'clock at night. And, you know, obviously, you know, Michael and Tess, the amount of times I've dropped my kids off at theirs and they've fed them and showered them and got them ready for bed, and I've been at a listing appointment and I've got back to theirs at 8:15, chucked the kids in the car, drove them, put them in bed. But it's like having that flexibility like you've now got. It's the best.
And that's what, same with our staff, you know, having that, working from home just has given them that flexibility to, you know, whatever that might need to do on that given day, like they need to duck out or put something, you know, just do stuff around the house that needs to be done. It's just awesome. And obviously in staff retention and things like that, from a more business owner perspective, it's fantastic because, I mean, I don't really know, there's not that many, there's only one other firm that I know who do this, what we're doing. And we've got a totally different model to them. Their model is like big conveyancing factory, and their staff get absolutely wiped out doing 30 conveyances a week, where our model is a little more boutique-y, where our staff are doing more like 5 or 6 conveyances a week. The staff retention is retention's fantastic. Yeah.
So, obviously, your path has been probably as unusual as mine. But if you could give advice to anybody that is wanting to pursue something, what would be your
Wanting to pursue something.
if they've got something they want to do, like
I think you just got to be just got to go for it. I mean, everyone says that, don't they? Just go for it, but you've just got to fail. And I was thinking about this the other
or
day.
be prepared to fail.
Or be prepared. No, it's, yeah. I mean,
You don't have to fail.
but I think I think if you're doing something where there is an option where you fail, I mean, you got to be in that realm, don't you? So it's going to happen to people who really want to go for it.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, I was thinking, friends of ours have just gone through like a bankruptcy, and then I was like, "Fuck, that sucks." But then I was thinking, the two most wealthy people I know have both been bankrupt. People I know, like friends that I know, have both been bankrupt, and it's like, and these people who I'm thinking about who have gone through this bankruptcy, I'm like, I just want to take them aside and say, look, I can guarantee in like 3 or 4 years' time, you guys are going to be fucking killing it. It probably sucks balls at the moment. You got to sell your house, but you got to be prepared to fail.
The number? Give me the number. And for you, like the next, I mean, obviously your kids are still small, so but like the next 5 to 10 years, what can we expect from Chris Cameron?
Yeah, again, I don't even know. Like, I don't even know with the business side of things. Like, I think I'm like yourself in many regards that when we go into things, we go in pretty hard and try to do things that, like for me and yourself, trying to push technologies or push processes. And I guess I'm coming to the reality of understanding that that's the type of person I am, and just feeling comfortable in that flow of progression. Yeah. So, is there probably is going to be a career change at some stage? Who knows if it's 5 years, 10 years, or 25 years? But I know myself well enough now in my 40s, knowing that I'm not where I want to be, and that's not like I want a house or I want money. It's like, I guess I want to be me, and I haven't finished that journey yet. But
that's the best thing, because if you get to the point where you feel like you've reached the destination, then it's like, well, what next?
Well, then you might as well just close the coffin, eh?
Yeah. I guess that's why golf's so addictive.
Because you're never going to finish there.
Awesome. All right, mate. Well,
thanks for having me.
For coming. It's been, I thought I knew you pretty well, but I've learned some things myself here.
Yeah, well, I really appreciate a bit of time with me, and I'm sure we'll do some more stuff together. I'm sure we will. Legend.
Cheers, mate.
Thanks, mate.
See you, pal.
This is When I Grow Up with Glazby.